Most pickleball paddles on the market today share the exact same foundation. Roughly 95% of them rely on a standard polypropylene honeycomb core to balance power and control. The CRBN TruFoam Barrage abandons that blueprint completely. This comparison matrix shows how the Barrage replaces the standard honeycomb core with a 100% foam alternative. By making that switch, CRBN promises maximum power output and a feel that is noticeably different from anything else in its category. Which leaves us with a specific question. Does replacing honeycomb with floating foam actually give you a new tool at the baseline, or will that aggressive setup actively sabotage your short game? Picking up this paddle means committing to a mandatory mechanical adjustment period. Even highly rated players have to recalibrate their swings to accommodate it. Adapting to this gear involves a tactical overhaul and a substantial financial commitment. It is a high-stakes purchase that only produces results if your existing playing style aligns with its aggressive design. We can see the exact specs directly from the manufacturer's table here. Notice the core material is listed as 100% TruFoam floating core, and the thickness is set at 14 millimeters. Those specifications confirm this is a highly specialized tool. It is built for a strict purpose, completely discarding any pretense of being a friendly, forgiving all-rounder. Before you spend the money to upgrade, you have to execute a rigorous self-audit of your own mechanics to ensure they match exactly what this paddle demands. To understand how it plays, you need to look at how that floating core is constructed. Unlike traditional builds, the foam inside the Barrage is not rigidly bonded to the carbon fiber face. When you strike the ball, the unbonded face can flex inward slightly before the core fully engages. That creates a trampoline-like energy return, snapping back and firing the ball forward. That mechanical trade-off is mapped clearly on this chart. You gain explosive pace on your drives, but the resulting lively response means you have to actively and strictly decelerate your swing to keep your dinks in the kitchen. The second major variable at play is the physical profile. This paddle sits at 14 millimeters thick. Thicker paddles, usually around 16 or 20 millimeters, use their mass to provide passive forgiveness and inherent dampening on impact. Stripping away core mass makes the Barrage cut through the air faster, allowing for quicker maneuverability and sharper angles when you go on the attack. Combine that reactive foam with a thin, aerodynamic profile, and all of the passive forgiveness disappears. You are forced to take 100% manual control over your soft game. Outside of the core, the paddle utilizes a raw carbon fiber weave for its hitting surface. Instead of relying on a spray-on texture that can wear down quickly, the woven carbon actively grips the ball on contact, generating heavy topspin on your drives and roll volleys. Keep in mind, raw carbon surfaces are under heavy scrutiny right now. While the Barrage is currently USAPA approved, competitive players will need to monitor compliance updates before taking it into sanctioned tournaments. That structural design also affects player comfort. Because the core floats rather than being rigidly attached to the face, it interrupts the transfer of jarring vibrations that would normally travel up your arm during heavy baseline ground strokes. There is a durability caveat to consider. The long-term structural integrity of a floating foam core subjected to heavy weekly play hasn't been tested in the market for quite as long as traditional bonded honeycomb. The design is highly effective at maximizing spin and protecting your joints from shock, but owning it means you have to diligently monitor both its physical wear and its tournament legality. When you swing this paddle, the feedback loop is immediate. Hit off-center, and you will feel a brutally honest penalty in your shot trajectory. The sweet spot is certainly there, but the margin for error is significantly smaller than what you would find on a thick control paddle. Looking directly at the manufacturer's listed drawbacks confirms this. The review notes explicitly under the cons column that the lively response demands strict discipline on soft shots. You should expect to endure a few frustrating sessions on the court before your third shot drops start to feel trustworthy again. The immense baseline power the Barrage offers is completely real. You just have to earn it through consistent mechanics, rather than trying to buy it through gear forgiveness. Let's map exactly who should avoid this paddle. If you're a finesse tactician, it's a painful fit. Tracing the first branch of our decision tree, if your strength relies on patient dinking and resetting under pressure, the conclusion is a hard stop. Stick to thick core honeycomb. The mismatch happens at contact. When your entire game is built around absorbing an opponent's pace, the lively foam core will simply pop the ball up, leaving you vulnerable to an attack. The original review highlights this bluntly. A veteran 91-year-old finesse player would likely take this paddle and throw it straight into the rec center pond. Buying a dedicated power paddle to fix a weak soft game will absolutely backfire, and it will actively dismantle your kitchen defense. The ideal buyer for the Barrage sits on the exact opposite end of the spectrum. This is for the 3.5 to 5.0 rated player who prefers to dictate points with aggression. Bringing our decision tree back, we look at the second path. If your game relies on raw pace and baseline driving, you hit a perfect target match. This tool dominates when you are driving the ball hard from mid-court or trying to overpower opponents in the transition zone during doubles play. But the mandatory prerequisite remains. You must already possess the fundamental mechanics to manually execute your drops and resets. You cannot rely on the paddle to do that work for you. Do not buy the TruFoam Barrage expecting a friendly, all-around paddle. Buy it to take a solid mechanical foundation and weaponize it with explosive pace.